Hello there, hermeneutics fans. This is Mr. Smith, and I am going to produce a video for you um, from the studio of my basement. And what I want to do is show you how to do the word study assignment with a free program online as opposed to the NIV Exhaustive Concordance. Now, the assignment requires the NIV Exhaustive Concordance. Now, I unless you were required to buy it, I can't imagine that you were. Um, I don't know how 60 or 70 of you are going to be able to go to the library and use it. So I'm going to show you how to use a program called Blue Letter Bible. This is a screen capture of my computer. Yes, I am still on AOL. I am the one guy on AOL. Don't make fun of me. All right, so here in my little menu, I have Bible Helps and Blue Letter Bible. You can just go to blueletterbible.org, and this is what will open up. I'm going to expand it so it covers the whole screen. And here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to talk you through the exercise. When you come to this screen, it's there's a lot going on. So if you get lost, just go to the top here and click Blue Letter Bible, and it will take you back to this screen. And here, all you need to know is you can change the version to all these different versions. Here's your search button. And if you're looking for you can either type in a verse, John 3:16, okay? Or I'm lazy. I just like to click and find the book over here, Esther, and then yeah, here you actually have to type in a number, okay? And that will take you to the text. Don't worry about this over here right now, but this is Esther chapter 3, all here, okay? Now, let's go through the exercise. This is assignment 9-1, concordance exercise. Use the concordance to answer the following questions about Acts 1:8. Now, since they're assuming you're using the NIV, let's go to the NIV, New International Version, okay? And it says, write out the English transliteration of the word translated power in Acts 1:8. So let's go to, up here is select a verse. Let's go to Acts 1, and that'll take me to the entire Acts 1. Where'd it go? Okay, let's go to verse Acts 1:1. And here's Acts 1:8. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you. Okay, so the question is, what is the English transliterated form of the word translated power in Acts 1:8? Now, here's where it gets fun. You can find that out, but you have to switch to King James. So at least you found the right verse and the right word. It's Acts 1:8. You're going to go up here to the King James Version. The King James Version, as long as you have this little box checked right here, it says show Strong's numbers, click. Every word in the English, every word in the English has a Strong's number. Strong's number is keyed to the Greek word, or in the Old Testament to the Hebrew word. So you're going to find Acts 1:8, and you're going to find the equivalent word to power. It's here in the King James, it's power. But ye shall receive power. It's Strong's 14:11. Click on it, and you find out it is the word dunamis. If you want to know how it's pronounced, you can click this.
Strong's G 1411. Dunamis. Dunamis.
Thank you, Harvey. I don't know if that's his name, but now here's the transliteration. Dynamis. So that's what it's asking. You write out dunamis. That's the transliteration. How many times does this word occur in the New Testament? You're going to scroll down to this word phrase strong search. Strong's number 1411 matches the Greek dunamis, which occurs 120 times in 116 verses. There's your answer. C, list the passages in Acts that translate this word as power. So now Here you have listed all the words, all the times the word occurs. But now we're in the King James, but we want to know how many times this word is translated as power in the NIV. So we're going to click back to the NIV. This number, the Greek word stays the same, but now it's going to do a search in the NIV. So here's all the verses. Now notice here it's still 120 times in 116 verses, but here's all the listings of the verses where that word occurs. Now it's asking for two specific things just in the book of Acts. So here this list stops. This is the list of the occurrences from Matthew 6 to Luke 1. Here is Luke 4 through Romans. Here is Romans 1 through 2 Corinthians. So you just want Acts. You know Acts is between Luke and Romans. So you're going to click there. And here are all the occurrences. And you're going to start looking from Acts all the way down. Okay. And you see that the word occurs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. But how many times is it translated as power? Well, but you will receive power. There's one. Men of Israel, listen to this. Jesus of Nazareth was a man accredited by God to you by miracles, wonders, and signs. The word power isn't there. It's probably the word miracles. So it doesn't occur there. So you're just going to go through, read each occurrence in Acts, and then you write down the passages in which it is translated power. Okay, here in Acts 19:11, it's miracles. But here in, we're in Romans, but it's declared with power. So you're just going to list the times it occurs in the NIV with the word power. All right, then letter D under number 1, list the passages in Acts that translate this word as miracles. So now let's count through again in Acts. How many times does it list miracles? Now we're moving on to number 2. Use the concordance to answer the following question about Exodus 4:21. So let's go back here to the beginning. Let's go to NIV. Let's go to Exodus 4. Boom. You're in Exodus 4. And the question is about Exodus 4:21. The Lord said to Moses, when you return to Egypt, see that you perform before Pharaoh all the wonders I have given you the power to do. So that's the word we're looking for. So now we need to find out, write out the English transliterated form of the word translated power. So we want to know the Hebrew word and how it's transliterated. We need to go to the King James Version. Now we have the numbers. Go down to Exodus 4:21. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. So now you go, that doesn't say power, but now you're beginning to realize how a word can be translated. Thine hand, I'm going to click on that. That's 30:27. Okay. It's the Hebrew word yad. Let's see if Herbie tells us that they were pronouncing
Strong's H 3027. Yad.
Got it.
Yad.
Thanks, Frank. All right, so now we have the word yad. It says write out the transliterated word Y-A-D. How many times does this word occur in the Old Testament? Strong's number matches, which occurs 1,615 times. List the passages in Exodus that translate the word as power. So now let's just find Exodus. Now here you have this listing, this listing, this listing. You're going to click on it and you're going to start to count. You're going to read in Exodus, and you're now notice in the King James, the number is actually highlighted, but we don't want the King James. We want the NIV. Search. We still have the same Hebrew word, but now we're going to look for how many times it is translated as power. So you just have to read through the Exodus occurrences, see how many times it is translated as power. We actually should have started here and counted up. Okay. Number 3, the NIV uses the word judge in 1 Corinthians 4, 5, and 6. Are these the same Greek words? So let's go back here. If you get lost, always go here. Go to the NIV. You want to go to 1 Corinthians 4. And the word judge in 1 Corinthians 4, 3. I care very little if I'm judged by you. Well, what is it in the Greek? Go to King Jimmy. For I know nothing by myself. Oop, that's 4:4. We want 4:3. But with me, it is a very small thing that I should be judged. 3:50. Anakrino. Okay, so now let's go back. And it says in 5:6, if you want to go to the next chapter, just go up here. In 5:6, now you could go back to the NIV, but you're going to look for a word that looks like judge or judged. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong chapter. Let's go to the prior chapter. It's actually chapter 4, verse 5. Therefore, judge nothing. Oh, it looks like a different number. 29:19. Crino. Let's see if we're saying it right, George.
Strong's G 2919. Crino.
Crino. Okay, he's got to show off with his little accent. All right, so now you want to go to chapter 6. This is chapter 4. That's 5. Go to 6. You're looking for 6:5. Is there a word that looks like judge? Judge right there. Oh, it looks different. So you're going to write out the English transliteration of the 3 Greek words. Okay. Now, number 4, use a concordance to answer the following questions about the word hope. A, Paul uses the word hope in Romans 4:18. How many times total does Paul use the same word in his letters? Do not assume he wrote Hebrews. So let's go to 4:18 in the NIV. We'll go, where is the NIV? Let's go to, how are we going to get there? We're going to select a verse, and we're going to go to Romans 4. And let's just go 4:1. Go to verse. And it's 4:18. Against all hope, Abraham in hope believed. So let's switch to King Jimmy, King James, 4:18. Who against hope, 1680, believed in hope, 1680. Okay, so Paul uses the word hope. How many times does Paul use this same word in his letters? Don't assume he wrote Hebrews. So we're going to click on it. It's Elpez. We see that it occurs 54 times in 48 verses. But the question is, how many times does Paul use it? So you're going to start in Romans and count up until you're going to get to, here we have another list. You're going to stop when you see Hebrews. There you go. So just count up all his uses of that word. How many times is the word used in Matthew, Mark, and Luke? Well, let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to guess none, but don't. I didn't tell you that. Is this the same word for hope that is used in Corinthians 13:13? So this is the word hope Elpis, let's just go to, where are we going? Well, let's go all the way back. When you get lost, just go back. And let's go to 1 Corinthians 13. Oh, let's do it in King Jimmy. 13:13. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the body to be burned and have not charity, it profit me nothing. Oh, that's 3. How about we go to 13? And now abideth faith, hope. It's 16:18. Yes, it's the same one. Not that I told you. All right, so you're done with the first part. Now, the next part gets a little more complicated. Let's go back to the beginning. You're studying the Sermon on the Mount, and you come across the word worry. So you're studying it in the NIV. Why you would do that, I don't know. But let's go to Matthew 6. And, oh, you want to go back. Sometimes it switches versions on you because it's demonic. All right, so then you go, you're studying, and right around verse 24, you can't serve two masters. 25, therefore I tell you, don't worry. And you're like, oh man, I don't want to worry. I want to study this worry thing. Okay, so what you want to do is find out question number 1. Now they're going to tell you how to do this in the NIV concordance. All they're asking is, what is the Greek number? So how do you do that? You switch it over to King Jimmy. Go down to verse 25. Therefore I say to you, now the NIV says don't worry. King James says take no thought. 3309, click on it. Maramanao, I don't think I'm pronouncing it right. Herb?
Strong's G 3309. Merenao.
Maranao.
Merenao.
Thank you, Herb. That's Herb right here. No, I don't know who that is, but it looks like that would be the guy. Oh, look, he's reading one of my favorite books. Okay, so now you know that it's number 3309. Now it tells you turn to the Greek to English dictionary index, blah, blah, blah. Write out the word in transliterated English form. Well, it's this, MERIMNAO. Thank you, Herb. Okay. While you're looking at the Greek word in the Greek to English dictionary, make a list of the different ways the NIV translates this particular Greek word. And on your sheet, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different ways it's translated. Now, the only way you can do this would be to go down here into the listings. It occurs 24 times in 17 verses. Switch it over to NIV. Search. So now you're going to have every verse in the NIV that translates that word. And you're just going to need to go through and keep a list of the different ways it's translated. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about. So worry about is one way. Who of you by worrying? There's another way. And why do you worry about? There's worry about again. So do not worry. Therefore, do not worry about. But when they arrest you, do not worry about. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset. Okay. So you're going to list all the different ways it is translated into English in the NIV. Number 4, look up each translation you listed above, and then you're going to write out the verse. So in essence, what you're doing is you're finding out how it's translated differently, and then your step 2 is write the verse by it. So you'll have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different English translations, and then each verse by the different translation. Okay? All right, moving along. Number 5. Now that you know how the NIV translates the word, now you're going to do some study on the word. Okay? You want to figure out what it means in Matthew 6:25 by looking at all these range of meanings. So A, what things are we told not to worry about in Matthew 6:25? Well, I tell you, don't worry about your life, what you're going to eat or drink, about your body. So material things. Okay? What about in 27? Who of you by worrying can add a single hour? Oh, so there you're worrying about your lifespan. 28. Why do you worry about clothes? Don't worry about clothes, okay? So you're going to list all the things you can worry about. Now, in Luke 12:22, Jesus said, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you'll eat, about your body. Okay? So that's A. B. What's the context of Matthew 10:19? So 10:19. But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. So now the other verses in Matthew 6, the context is worrying about material things. Here, the context is when you're arrested for your faith. If you want to study the deeper context, just click on Matthew 10 and you can read the deeper context. But when they arrest you, it won't be you speaking. Okay, then you can go back to your word study in the NIV. Okay. C, what stands in contrast to Martha's worry in Luke 10:41? Luke 10:41, Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you're worried and upset about many things. So, Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you're worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. I think what they're after is she's worried about many, but Mary is focused on one. I think that's what they're after. All right, then we are almost there. Let's keep going. In 1 Corinthians 7, Paul uses the word 4 times, describe the content. So now you go down to 1 Corinthians 7. I would like to you to be free from concern. So there it's translated concern. But a married man is concerned about the affairs of this world. His interests are divided. So therefore, there should be no division in the body, but its parts should have equal concern. Right? So what's the context saying here? Then E, what do the context of 1 Corinthians 12 and Philippians 2 have in common? Philippians 2, I have no one else like him who takes a genuine interest in your welfare. So there, it's not worry, it's more caring. Okay. What kinds of worry is Paul describing in Philippians 4? Do not be anxious about anything, but in prayer and petition. Now you might want to look at the bigger context here. Don't be anxious. What was the verse? 4:6. Don't be anxious about anything, but by everything present your requests, the peace of God. So figure that out. We're almost there. All right. Based on your brief study of the word as used in context, describe the best you can the semantic range. There are at least 2 major senses. So if you were to write a dictionary definition with a list of possible meanings, what would those possible meanings mean from the words you've studied? Number 7. Now decide what the Greek word used in Matthew 6:25 and translated worry actually means in this verse. Select one of the semantic range options that you identified in step 6 and explain why you think the word carries that meaning. So you're going to go back to the Matthew 6 verse. Actually, we need to bump back 1, and you're going to study the context of Matthew 6:25 of the different ranges of meaning. Which one do you think does Jesus include here? And then to check your work, there's some book you can check it by. So there you go. I think you can probably pull it off. And I wanted to show you how to use this tool. If you actually have the NIV concordance, you can do it by the letter of the book, but this is a workaround, and I'm signing off from my bunker.